Yeah, so what I wanted to know was your feelings and your thoughts on the significance of the election of Barack Obama to the civil rights movement, the fulfillment of the civil rights movement. If you think that his election is the fulfillment of the civil rights movement, and is there more still to do? And I wanted to get your perspective because, I know that you were involved in civil rights and involved in desegregation and the lunch counters and unionizing the hospitals and all that kind of stuff like that. So I wanted people to get your perspective on President Obama and how do you feel that he fits into the dynamics of the civil rights era.
Okay, let me go back. I could go further than that, but I'm going to go back just to Martin Luther King.
You can go back as further as you want.
I'll go back to Martin Luther King. When Martin Luther King started out in the movement,
Mm-hmm.
he was between 24 and 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to me, he was elected by God. He was a hand-chosen man by God to let us know it's going to be a better day. And his movement, he did the same thing that Paul did. He went to jail.
Mm-hmm.
He was beat. He was spit on.
Mm-hmm.
Everything happened to him that happened to Paul. Now, when Martin Luther King went to Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana, I believe that he was in Louisiana when he got killed. And I could be correct, but I think he was in Louisiana. And where the garbage men went on strike.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when the garbage men went on strike, he was sent for. And he was told not to go because they felt that somebody was out there to get him.
Mm-hmm.
He just got just that bad. But he did the same thing when Jesus said, I must go through Samaria.
Yeah.
I must go. And just Jerusalem. And when Martin Luther King, he made his mind up. And he went. And then he was going to stay in. And the church, people were standing all outside the church, waiting on him to come. He wasn't going to the church. He was going to do something else. So they called and say, Martin, say these people at the church, they standing all outside. People can't even get inside the church. They want you to come to the church. They say he put on his clothes and he went. And when he started preaching about, I've been on the mountaintop,
Mm-hmm.
I thought about when Moses went on the mountaintop. And he said, I've seen the promised land. And and what? I thank God for one thing, that I lived to see that. See, I lived, my generation understand both sides. When we didn't have civil rights, and now we have civil rights. Your generation don't know but one side.
That's right.
The Civil Rights Bill was already passed. So I can talk about, I can talk about history on both sides. Just like the people during the time when Jesus' disciples, they were older than him. So they remember, some of them remember, the patriarch remember when Jesus was born, when he was a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
So those people could talk about before Christ, and they could talk about after Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So I got I got an upper hand on my grandchildren and some of my children. But anyway, when he went, I could feel. Let me tell you another thing. A lot of times people say, you know, they try to accuse him that he had women and all. But I'm here to tell you, I was in the movement. When you in the movement, it's not of your doing.
Mm-hmm.
God guide all of us. I wouldn't have went through what I went through myself if it hadn't been the hand of God. I'd have gave up. And you ain't got time talking about a woman, a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got time, man. You live in a glass house when you out there. Everybody looking at you. You can't go nowhere. And so that stuff that Evan Apple came back later and say, Martin Luther King had women. I don't believe that. But when he went on the mountaintop in that church, God took him up in the spirit. I say in the spirit. And God did show him, because everything Martin Luther King said in that speech,
Mm-hmm.
everything he said, even when he had the march on Washington, it just come into pass. And that's why Martin Luther King, in our 20th century, year of the 20th century, they saw what people saw during Moses' time. They saw when Moses put the rod in the water and it opened up. Martin Luther King opened up the civil rights.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like back there it was Jews against the Gentiles. In our time it was the black, Hispanic, and all of those. If you wasn't white,
Mm-hmm.
pure white, you can look like a white person. If they look at you and they know that you can tell me from a white person. But if they had your DNA and find out you
Mm-hmm.
you were white. Okay. Now, the difference in the opening the Red Sea and the difference in Martin Luther King time, he made it possible. Well, he didn't make it possible. He let them know. He said, I had a dream that one day in the deep south, Mississippi, Alabama, they were the worst
Mm-hmm.
at that time. They would be playing together, black and white. And then he used this what got me, he say, little white boys. That means a little black boys and little white girls.
Mm-hmm.
Now you know that's a no-no. They would be holding hands. And they would be playing a merry-go-round. And he say, but I won't be here with you. But you will see it. Now, did he know he was going to die? I don't know. You see, when you go back and read all those past historians,
Mm-hmm.
the patriarchs, a lot of them, even disciples and Paul,
Mm-hmm.
they thought they would be him when Jesus come back.
Yes, they did.
They thought that.
Mm-hmm.
But over 2,000 years. And so right now, and then it started from other movement. It was all kind. And I'm gonna tell you something. The Black Panther, God will take what we call an enemy. And the Black Panther, at one time, they were fighting us. They were fighting their own brothers.
Mm-hmm.
But during the Civil Rights Movement, they joined Martin Luther King. They started fighting with him. Martin Luther King, he called in all of those leaders out there, all of those black folk that was out there fighting each other. And one time, we had a color that in New Orleans that we had the white man had brainwashed us so bad until if you were black, you were better than your brother that had a little color. And in New Orleans, there's some clubs, if you go to some of them clubs, they have a paper bag, a brown paper bag.
Mm-hmm.
They'll take that paper bag and hold it up against your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were the same color of that paper bag, or less, you couldn't go in them clubs. That's how bad it was. The white men were brainwashed. Now, Stokely Carmichael, he was black. He came out saying, black is beautiful. Now, you know, God used different people just like you got major prophets, you got minor prophets.
Mm-hmm.
I use Martin Luther King was a major prophet.
Mm-hmm.
He got turned. Stokely Carmichael and some of them other ones were minor prophets. They didn't stay on the scene long. But what they did, they played just a greater part than Martin Luther King. The Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
If it weren't for the Black Panther, we wouldn't have had no civil rights. Because Martin Luther King was going saying that nonviolent.
Mm-hmm.
They were shooting them down in the street nonviolent. The Black Panther said, an eye for an eye. So them Black Panthers started fighting the whites back, bombing their places, doing everything. So the whites said, wait a minute here. We can't have this. We don't like Martin Luther King, but at least he ain't fighting us. So we need a mediator from the black side, black race. So they said, well, who can we get to talk to try to, because what had happened, some of those foreign countries had already said, we're gonna support the black movement in America. Because them other countries, they didn't like the white folks. So when they understood that, they were scared. Say, you talking about a civil war in this country? We don't need this. And so they say, we need to mediate. They wouldn't even meet. They wouldn't meet with us. So they said, well, Martin Luther King got a movement. He got a lot of followers. They had a meeting. All the Black Panthers, everybody had a meeting. So they decided, we'll let Martin Luther King be our spokesperson. They decided that. But you know, so with Martin Luther King, every time a big race riot break out, they'll call Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
And Martin Luther King, whoever did the worst thing in that community, like fighting back, Martin Luther King meet with their leader. Now, the Black Panthers, they were a real violent group. I mean, they had armed themselves up. They're like the Ku Klux Klan. They had, it was a lady named, her name was Davis. I can't think of her name.
Angela
Davis. Angela Davis was a lawyer. She was a great, smart woman. A smart woman. And every time they get in trouble, she was like Martin Luther King. She was their lawyer. The blacks getting in trouble, and she was their lawyer. See, God gave you somebody you could go to. But anyway, and Martin Luther King, after the best is just like Martin Luther King couldn't do nothing else anymore. Martin Luther King, and when he left that, come off that mountain, God told him, say, I'm using my own word. God told him, Martin, I'm going to arrest you now. I'm going to take you home, just like he told Moses. I'm gonna take you home. And Martin Luther King got killed. Now, if Martin Luther King hadn't got killed, integration, we still might have been fighting. We still might have been fighting. But what happened when he got killed? Our side didn't have no leader,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like everybody for themselves. Well, if white man